Go live on the YouTube. Some fun stuff, like always, fun stuff. Just make sure we're live here. One moment, please. Every time I say that to my mom, she's like, say it again, say it again. One moment, please. Why is this taking so long? What do we have open that we can close? Okay, yeah, we're good. Man, Zoom and YouTube is really slow. There we go. Done. Redirecting. All right. And it looks like we are live. Now let's just go ahead and get the recording here done. Good to see you, Gene.
Good morning, everybody.
All right, everyone. Good morning. It is Monday. It is my favorite day of the week, TGIM, ladies and gentlemen. I'm fired up. I got some fun stuff for you today. I don't know if you can feel that energy coming through the screen or not, but whew, I am hot. How do you like my new orange shirt? Kind of Charlie Brown in it today. Anyway, this is our Monday Mastermind. We do this every Monday, 12 Eastern Standard Time. So if you're watching out there on YouTube land, feel free to join us. You can join us by going to thelosttransition.com/live. We'd love to hear from you. Love to see you. And if you're just out there watching, being a little peekaboo kind of person, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Right on, right on. Uh, can you hear me okay? Everybody? Okay, cool. Virgil, that must be on your end, brother. So this is week 22. We've been doing this for over 3 years now. Just started airing the show, if you will, on YouTube, starting at the beginning of the year. But this is now week 22. We're calling this one Persuasion Occasion. So today I've got some really cool stuff for you guys. I'm going to first off just get started before we get too deep into it and I forget anything. I got a file for you. I got file and I got slides. What? Files and slides. So here's a little PDF that I'm going to drop down into the chat there. And it's in alignment with what we're going to talk about today, which is the persuasion occasion, is what we're calling it today. So some of the things you're going to hear about today might be a little fresher, but part of the battle of being here and showing up is like 80% of everything. And many times, in order for you to connect the dots, you're going to need to hear certain things. And sometimes you're going to need to hear them in different ways so that it actually resonates with you, so that it finally clicks and gets those dots going. But before we get into the fun part of the show, yeah, we started off with those of you that are in the audience here. We'd like to hear some of your wins from last week. You know, I love living vicariously through you. So who would like to go first and start the show off with their wins? Anybody? Don't be shy because you know I will call on you. Anyone? Anyone? Or do we need some joggling of the brain? Go ahead, G. I saw Gene's
Oh,
go up. Vicky, you're next, dear.
Vicky, go ahead.
Okay, Vicky. See, what a
I don't
gentleman.
have any real wins this week.
Sure you do.
I do, but this week was different because there was the holiday and then there was my birthday, and
Happy
so
birthday.
I'm just grateful, very grateful this week. I got to go to a nice dinner from the a couple days after my birthday, and it was a nice surprise, and it just kind of like refurbished everything. It made me more grateful for everything, and so that's a win to me. I got to spend time with my family and I haven't got to spend time with for a while, so that was pretty cool too. So
I call that a win.
that's my
That was a
win.
nice
Yes.
birthday week
Mm-hmm.
celebration. Awesome, awesome, my friend. Good stuff. Thank you for sharing with us. Appreciate seeing you here. Love you, my friend. What you got for us, Gene? Tell me about your wins, brother. I know you've
Well,
been
these are all personal wins for me. Um, I got to be on a Zoom again with the CEO of this medical testing kit we're going to be
yeah.
offering. and then a different Zoom that was more of a
How'd that
training
go?
Zoom. Pardon?
How'd it go?
Oh, it went real good. We're learning a lot about it, and it's giving me more information to actually feed into ChatGPT too, so that it helps me out, in describing things. And then they sent us a video of well, let me back up. I made a fake, I think I told this last week. I made a fake podcast using information they gave us. It sounds like a podcast through Google. Google has this notebook in L or something like that, I think it is. And I had shared that with the CEO, and I guess they liked it so much and said they made a real podcast with someone. So a little bit longer than mine, but at least
Took
it's a
your
real
idea
podcast.
and ran with it, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So, but at least now, instead of using the fake one, we got a real one now.
Oh, nice.
That Jeff, one of the
Uh,
partners, did with another guy that's all into that science side of that with genes and everything.
mhm.
And we got another one of our business partners, a new life on board also, and we're all brainstorming. And I took one of our videos and used the script from the podcast, the real one, and other information I had fed ChatGPT and made a video script, and then use Google's AI voice generator, and then use my platform that I have to put it all together and edited the video a little bit. And now we have a doctor's video also to share. And
Nice.
one of the ladies already shared it with someone and already has a doctor. It's going to be on tomorrow night Zoom to see what it's all about.
Right on.
And another win, I think. And then
Oh, yeah, that's how it starts.
so yeah, exactly. And now also for my new personal branding I'm doing, one of you has seen the website. They'll remain nameless, and
Okay.
gave me a lot of positive feedback on it. And Robert, you get to see it on Friday when we have our one-on-one.
Sweet.
And I'm almost done with that, and already going to starting on funnels. I'm going to be redoing that one funnel you saw, Robert,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
kind of match the original website a little bit.
Okay,
And
good.
I'm going for the non-hype.
Okay.
Everything out there is hype. Everything out there is it's a countdown, or got to do it now, or and I'm that my whole branding is anti-hype. I'm That's not going to be what I'm doing as being um uh the empowerment entrepreneur. It's not hype. My main video I'm going to be recording later today is starting off with me saying, "Don't you hate these type of videos?" And I'm stealing two of those hype videos, the beginning of those, showing those off, and then saying, that's not us. That's not what I do. And basically, the main video on the website is going to be about that and about the businesses that they can make money from if they do the work. There is no quick get rich quick. There's no installing an app and sitting back and let the money roll in or anything like that. So that's going to be kind of my personal branding with that.
Right.
And like I said, the website's almost done. The main website's almost done. I've got the business already linked, but then I'm going to go do personal or do funnels in front of each of the company websites to sign up, so that it's a personal video from me and my personal take on those businesses, and then going from there. So it's going to mean the main hub is going to be genebeard.com. I'm having reworked from another website into this, and then branch off into these other businesses. People could start off doing a free affiliate program like the medical kit, or they can jump in and got backup, or any of the other businesses that people can make money from if they put in the work. So,
Right.
and they
Cool.
can start off with a highline item, or start off with something small that's either free or has, a small monthly on it, like got backup. So I kind of give them an array of things that they can do. Start off with one first, become successful, then move on to the next.
I love it. Love it. Congratulations, brother, on getting all that accomplished. What I really loved about that is that you're picking up all these new things and implementing them. Ultimately, the thing that I caught out of that too is what you said about putting your own page in front of the affiliate page. So, yes,
Mm-hmm.
yay. Brand yourself first. Absolutely. Appreciate you sharing that, brother.
Thank you.
Who'd like to go next? Who has some wins they want to share?
Yes, Keisha's got it. The Notebook LM is what it's called.
Oh, what's that all about, Keisha?
Um, that's the one I used to make that fake podcast.
Oh, oh, okay.
And
Gotcha,
what I
gotcha.
loved about it when I was just trying it out, we were on a different Zoom. Keisha was on it, and I fed in ChatGPT documents into it, and it made like a 5 minute podcast. And it's two AIs talking to each other.
Right on.
But the most fantastic thing about it was at the very start, the male goes and started speaking. The AI took a breath,
Huh.
and that just amazed me. That made it sound so real. And, you know,
Right
so
on.
it's a fun thing to toy with. And you can, make little short audios and then make a video clip out of it to put on YouTube. It's conversationally explaining something that you want explained. So,
Right on. So it's called Notebook LM.
yes,
L as
it's
in
by Google.
Larry, M as in Mary by Google. For those of you that might be out there watching and wondering what we're talking about, Notebook LM. Cool. Thanks for sharing that. Keisha,
Thank you.
did you have some wins that you wanted to share?
No, I was just clarifying. Notebook LM, I use that as a study, a speed study,
Okay.
because you can literally take up to 50 pieces of information, load it in there, that's video, PDFs, whatever,
Mm,
and then tell it to create a study guide for this.
cool. That sounds
And
pretty
then you
neat.
can also do podcasts and stuff like that. So you can use it a lot of different ways to be able to really accelerate how fast you have to absorb information. And those podcasts, you can even do podcasts where you can interrupt the podcast and ask a question, and it'll run from there. So it's
That
actually
sounds
pretty darn cool.
sounds pretty interesting. I was gonna say too, Gene, with what you were
And
saying,
it's
I
free.
forgot to comment. You're gonna love today's then. And I like the whole reverse psychology angle on what you were talking about. Thank you, Keisha. Anybody else got any wins they want to share? No? Rita?
Well, I'm gonna go. If Rita
Okay.
is going, means she's the last one because usually
Okay.
she's that trend.
What you got,
I'll
Virgil?
share mine. Well,
Please do.
day for day, I'm in the 30th day of my transition, right, from the event that happened till now, and I've been looking at where I'm going with this very carefully. Uh, Counting my wins has been a big thing that has been helping me through. And
Good.
last week, actually, I had great things happen. I mean, I've been applying, meaning that I'm still at that crossroad since there's an urgency. And I think that's also a little bit of the trap, but there's a need of it. There's an urgency that I need to cater to. So I've been applying and I've been getting good results, just not matching uh, the fact that I need to be fully remote. There are days or two that require checking in the office. So I'm looking at that, but also I'm still looking at what it really means for me to be prosperous, meaning preserving that ability to be where I want, right? And being keeping in the remote space and how to leverage my skills and such. And this week, I went to two conversations, one with CEO type founder of a big company or of an emerging company, I would say, that
Mm,
offers a service, a software as a service, pretty heavy stuff, pretty interesting. I really clicked with the owner and then I spoke to the business organizer around that on a second meeting. And I also had this great connection. It's 100% going into an offer which I will be able to leverage for a source of income. But beyond that, it was the connection that were made that really were the win in a sense that it gave me full strength into weighing really my options, right? Because when you're going in the freedom race, there are a lot of guarantees that you are letting go of, right? Certainties of like
yeah.
income, guaranteed income.
Yeah.
So that conversation allowed me to really start formatting my mind around that, that it's not a loss not to have income guaranteed by employment, but it's better to find a certainty in leveraging the skills that you have and creating your own income streams. And that got me into more of a gear of thinking, okay, well, how do I leverage my expertise? How do I market it? How do I sell it? How do I use it for myself? And this opportunity falls into that category, using that. It's not an affiliate uh, program, uh, but it is in the same type of environment that we're working in as network marketer, affiliate, or connection makers,
Mm.
opportunity created creators. So I'm looking to see where this goes, but it really created a moment in all this journey where you feel like, well, there's also certainty on that new avenue that you're pursuing. That was
So
my
it's giving
share.
you something else to look at the same time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
And
cool.
it's
I can appreciate that, Virgil. And I don't normally get too deep into this in this part of the conversation, but I do want to chime in on what you said because what you said was very important. And from my experience, I just want to share this with everybody. And some of you might have heard this, but if not, I think that this will resonate with you. And I'll say it in such a way to where it makes sense. Uh, I was in that boat many years ago, just like what Virgil's talking about. And I was presented with an opportunity to start direct marketing, which is door to door. And at the time, I had my daughter and my baby mama. And, we had a place that we had to live, and I had to come up with all the bills for that stuff, right? Anyway, I had answered a notice in the paper, right? Went in to do my interview, and they gave me that script that you guys have heard me talk about. And then after being sold on the idea, I asked how much it was to get paid. And they told me it was not an hourly rate, right? And it was completely commission only. And that job is literally what taught me what my worth was. And by that, what I mean is instead of me going out there and getting that 10, 15, or $20 per hour, whatever your skill set is and qualified for, I instead went into the sales realm door to door, gave it my absolute 110%, and I was successful. It came out on the other side successful with that. Point being is that what I found out by what I'm telling you and learning and understanding my own worth, I learned that if I went out there and I talked to the right people and gave them a service or will something that would solve a problem, I could get paid X amount of dollars for that. And if I did it enough times within an hour, within that day, I would actually surpass whatever I was making in that hourly job. And I wasn't having to go be in that hourly job for 8 hours a day. Now, don't get me wrong, in the sales world, just like anybody, I'm not going to be here sitting up here trying to fool you. You have good days and you have bad days, and you have good weeks and you have bad weeks, right? But if you go and you take the time to learn all these things that we're teaching you in between, the Monday Masterminds or the how-tos with Virgil and I, or even any of the personal instruction for myself, you'll get to that point where you understand that it really just comes down to conversations with the right people. And if you can find something that you're passionate about, then that makes it even the world better, right? If you can get behind something that you really enjoy, because then it's not like a job. And the whole purpose of why we're doing these Monday masterminds from, the lost transition was exactly that. How do we help teach people how to get from that job to what we call freedom or time freedom, which in essence is just working for yourself. So take whatever skill set that you have. Obviously, you got to do what you got to do. Get some money in your pocket so that you're able to pay your bills and get a roof over your head. But never lose that dream, my friends. Never lose that dream. Fight tooth and nail. I'm telling you, because when you get on the other side, it's well worth that battle, and it's well worth those days. And and I'm getting chills as I'm saying this. It's worth all of those no's. it's worth all the doors that are slammed in your face. It's worth all the crying on the curbs. Because we did have people that would do that. They'd cry on the curb. Hey, tell me no. But what we want to do here is we want to simplify the process for you, right? So that you're not getting told no, so that you're, not getting those objections and all the other things that you might normally get from doing internet marketing, network marketing, or direct marketing. So, thank you for sharing that with us, Virgil. I hope somebody got something out of that, even if it's not in this room, somebody that's watching. But you are way, way more valuable than what somebody else will put their worth on you for. So that's the end of my little rant. Rita, do you have anything you want to share?
Okay, um, really quick because I think they're gonna call me.
Sure, sure.
The I was able to get my video
Oh, cool.
for my Money Mastery for Munchkins. I was so excited, and that was definitely with the help of Coach. And the value in being in this group is the availability to reach out to somebody who, as John Maxwell says, knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Because I can look at all the YouTube videos I want that go along with the program, but when you have someone that already knows that stuff and you don't have to wait till the following week, he's accessible. That is the value that we have with this. So I wanted to just, say thank you, but also share that I'm super excited about my video and working on 2 and 3.
Thank you. Checks in the mail, by the way. You know I love you. My work wife. And you're gonna love today's topic too, because we're gonna go back to connecting some dots, and we'll see what the universe pulls out of me as we go through and talk about today's subject. My quick little win, not very big. I posted it on Facebook. I was just pretty happy and proud of my wife's son, Matt. So he graduated. Congratulations to class of 2025 that might be watching this. And what was so surprising to me was he got a full ride scholarship for football. So he's choosing his school. He's going to be right here in Texas, so he won't be too far away. I'm just like super proud. Like he deals with autism, some autism. He's one of those kids. I guess as he was growing up, people would try to pick on him, right? But he's kind of learned his way within society to where he's got people that actually appreciate him. And to see him, flourish and go from first seeing him and meeting him 2 years ago when Diane and I got together to him actually crossing the stage of graduation was really nice. It reminded me of, myself. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to be there for my kids crossing the stage. So it was a nice way to, live vicariously through her son. And the fact that who knows, man, we might see him in the NFL one day, man. That just tickles me. Maybe he'll be on the Dallas Cowboys. We'll see. But anyway, that was my biggest win. With that being said, I want to switch gears here today. Go ahead, G. You got something?
You had another win earlier in the week, also. I think it's number 43.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We moved up the ladder. Thanks, Gene. Yeah, we moved up the ladder. I don't know, it feels weird for me saying it because I don't like talking about myself too much, but I am number 43 on the leaderboard for Got Backup. 43 in the world. That's kind of neat. Over and out of 100,000 people. It's kind of neat. Kind of neat. That's one thing that I want to try to do what I can to help you guys out is to be part of the 2% club. And if you don't know, the top 2% marketers, all it really takes is 10 people in your downline, believe it or not. So it might not seem like it's not that big of a deal. Might seem pretty big for some people because the average is 1.5 people that people can bring in, right? But if you stick around long enough and you hear it enough times and you learn these things and learn the language, you'll get there, right? But so being 43 in the world, that's pretty cool for me. I'm not done yet, though. My plan is to shoot for at least the top 25, so we'll see how that goes. And for those of you that have given me your trust, I certainly appreciate that. Thanks, Gene. I appreciate that reminder there too. Good stuff. That being said, I'm ready for this stuff I'm going to share with you today. Again, Gene, I think that you're going to love it. Rita, this is going to make a lot of sense to you too. And I trust that this is also going to connect some dots. I need everyone in here, and if you're watching online, I need you to be very ear opened, and use a lot of level one listening today. Of any day, today is the day to use that level one listening. Okay. So I am going to share some slides. I already gave you the little handout. We'll go over the handout here after we get through these slides, but I do have some slides. Yes, yes. Virgil over there making me step up my game. And so let's kind of begin here. So what we're going to do, we're going to call this week 22 persuasion occasion, right? So what we're going to talk about today is 5 different techniques that drive results when it comes to persuasiveness, right? So we all want to, I would assume at least, or hope that we would all want to learn how to persuade people into taking a look at our business, right? So, in essence, we're talking about transforming some of your guys' sales approaches. But there's these 5 things that, again, we've talked about. You've probably heard some of this stuff, but we need to hear it again and again and again and again until it resonates and we get it into our thick skulls, right? At least mine's pretty thick. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Number one, number one technique that we're going to talk about is reciprocity. This is one of my most favorite things in the world to talk about. Rita will know exactly what I talk about when I say give to get. And I think that many of us really underestimate when I say give to get, or maybe you're not getting it. Maybe you're not understanding. Maybe the dots just aren't connecting. Maybe we need to shake you a little bit. I don't know. Right? Reciprocity. So let's start off with the definition of reciprocity. People will feel, well, not even definition, but just an explanation. People, pay attention, feel a natural obligation to repay those who give to them. Does everybody understand that? Can I get a one in the chat area? Raise your hand or do something. Because here's where a lot of us get it wrong, right? We jump into a conversation and automatically we want to show them what we got. We want to pitch them. We want to do all these crazy things. Instead, we need to take a step back and we need to think about reciprocity. Okay. We need to offer value first. I'm sure Rita, if she isn't busy over there, the doctors could say all these different things that have happened to her lately because of her just giving out of her heart without thinking of anything in return. In fact, that's why she's right underneath my wing as far as I can get her to help her out. Why? Because she gave to me. She gave to me out of her heart and one of my dear friends that have passed away without even thinking about it, without expecting anything in return. And I'll never forget that. Not to mention that she was there when I needed her the most. After my friend passed away, she was right there for me, offering value, 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 just being a friendly person, just being there for me. Like, wow, can't say enough about her. But this is what we need to do. We need to offer value first, right? Through offering that value, That's how we can start creating that connection. And then if you go and you can make that person feel special and make them feel like they actually like you care about them, because that's one of the biggest turns off that I get when people try to pitch me is they make me feel like I'm a number. Anybody in here a number? I don't see any numbers in here. Do you? Right? But I know it bothers me. And of course, I've been at this for quite a while. Right? In fact, I had to block somebody today because of the way they approached me. I don't know if you're into this. If you're open to making money online, block. You never even took the time to offer me any value. You never took the time to create any kind of connection. You never even looked at my Facebook page, for Christ's sakes. You didn't even look at the last post I did. But here you are in my inbox trying to close me on your greatest deal, right? But if we do these things first, if we have the reciprocity, we give without expecting to get, the get will happen. It will happen. I guarantee you guys this, guys. Guarantee. But most of all, it's going to help create that connection even faster, right? We always talk about, you hear me say, to find three things in common within the first 5 minutes. That's what we want to do. When you do these types of things that we're talking about, it's going to be easier to close. As they close naturally, I always say the easiest way to close a customer is to let them close themselves. Just give them enough value. Just answer their questions, right? But this is where free samples come in, right? I know Vicky's out there crushing it with her samples, and there's another buddy of mine that I know is just killing it by giving out samples. And the sign up rate is numbers like we haven't really seen in the industry, which is pretty cool to see, right? But the law of reciprocity contributed with value. It could be with even something as simple as a compliment. Hey, I really like the way you look today. That's right. Just be careful that it's not out of context and it's not somebody's wife with their husband next to them, right? All right. So reciprocity again, I just can't. Oh man, 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 man. I just can't express this enough to you guys. Open up your heart, right? You hear me talk about getting out of your brain, getting out of your head and into your heart, which is something that my mentor taught me. And when I started doing that, things started to shift in my life. Things started to change. And then all of a sudden, and I'm being very honest with you guys, it was weird because at one point in time, before this shift happened, I was in and still am in 7K metals. And it's $500 for somebody to sign up in that program. And back then, I couldn't find one person, not one person that had the additional $500 to sign up with me. Flip the script, added more reciprocity. Next thing you knew, there were people left and right. It was wild. Really, it was crazy. So reciprocity, though, is super important. You got to be out there, do what you can to help. Ultimately, right, and obviously too, within reason. Within reason. Don't go allow people to take advantage of you. Right? That's the big thing. Why I say within reason, but ultimately be there to do what you can to help people out. Become what we call a humble servant leader. That was the big, big, big thing that I got out of my focus training with my mentor. When you learn to become a humble servant mentor or leader, and you're giving from your heart, the universe literally like naturally opens up. But I have to warn you, and this is because of again what I've known, what I've learned, what I've seen. Even today, there was a post from a friend of mine about it. Do not, I repeat, do not let your ego get in your way. Now, why am I telling you that? Because the moment that you go out there and you start having these successes because you're using this law of reciprocity and things are coming to you, the moment that you start allowing your ego to get in the way, that is when everything will come crumbling down on you like a house of cards. Okay? Mark my words. So that's the big thing is reciprocity. Give to get, give to get. Okay? That being said, number two, social proof. We've mentioned this again before, but what is it? What does that mean? Right? Here's the actual stats. People will follow the crowd, right? We all know this. It happens all the time. Oh, well, hey, are you doing this? Yeah, I'm doing it. Okay, cool. Then I'm doing this. That can also be constructed and conversed about talking about keeping up with the Joneses, right? We've talked about that before. You're doing it? Cool, I'm doing it. Or even third party to say, yeah, you know who's joining? So and so's joining. And using that as social proof, right? But even if you have, like, let's say reviews, 93% of people trust reviews. Many people, especially if they're coconuts, they're going to go look at the reviews, right? They're going to look at reviews. And if the reviews and the social proof speaks to them, then odds of them closing themselves and joining are a lot higher. Now we got 71%, Gene, for the FOMO effect. People who fear missing opportunities. But if you don't have that FOMO there, you're not going to effectively get them to move forward. And that's kind of what we want them to do. We want them to move forward. Right? Not saying what we were talking about at the beginning of the show won't work. You just have to structure it the right way. Reverse psychology, which I love. It's beautiful. Peer influence, 85%. Right? Buyers trust recommendations from others over brand claims. Somebody would rather hear that you had a great experience with the product versus the company saying, all of our customers are happy, right? And then at the same time, people will go in there and they'll look at those negative ones. And those negative comments from that peer influence will actually make or break that decision for people to buy. I know it happens to me all the time. I'm like, ooh, this looks good. I'll go in there and look. So and so, yeah, customer service sucks or something. I'm like, man, and I had to fight it. Literally, I had to fight within my brain to not buy that product because I don't want to go through that experience. Even though the sad but fun part about this is I may not have that same experience, right? Many times it's like that to where you might have the best experience in the world, customer service, no problems ever, but then the person next to you is like, man, I can't get a hold of customer service to save my life, right? So, but decisions are made off of these different things that we're talking about. Reviews, FOMO effect, and peer influence. Those are the big things, right? So think about that. As you're setting up your groups, have testimonials be put in there. There's all kinds of different stuff that we could talk about that you can do to help create that social proof. Part of that social proof, though, is going to go back to what number one was, and that is actually going out there and helping somebody without expecting something of return. And maybe you go out there and help somebody do something, and they're like, oh my God, I think you're the greatest since sliced bread. And I really appreciate that. Would you be willing to do like a little testimonial for me so I could put it up on my website, maybe attract some more customers? Shake your head yes if you're on video. Right. Most of them will say yes, especially because you gave them something of value and you didn't expect anything in return. And if there's not a monetary exchange that's there, goes back to what we were talking about, how they feel they owe you, right? It's all psychological, folks. It's all psychological. So social proof, number two, work on your social proof, right? It's super important. Number three. Ooh, this is a big one. Authority. Position yourself as an expert. This is also and can be called and considered posture, right? You might have heard it as posture. Again, we hear these things, we hear them in different ways until they click, we get it, we got it in our brain, we learn it, download it, we use it, don't have to worry about it again, right? But you have to position yourself as an expert. And this is something that I've, even myself, I mean, growing up through the ranks, I mean, and I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means. I'm still doing the same things that I'm showing you and teaching you because everything's a test. We know some things that work and some things that don't, but ultimately it's going to come down to your audience, right? What is the audience that you built? That being said, there's a lot of people out there, we call it the blind leading the blind, that are trying to position themselves as experts, but don't do it properly, right? Or they're putting the cart before the horse. Or here's another one that I saw a post earlier today. Don't go out there and try to teach internet marketing when you don't know internet marketing. Ouch. Ouch. Ouchie, ouchie, ouchie. Right? So we've talked about this, and this is just a quick little golden nugget. We know how to implement those things if we've been paying attention. You've been around me long enough, right? It's learn, implement, share. What I learned from my mentor. Learn something, implement it into your business, and then gather that data, see what happened, and then share that information. This goes back to when you hear me say, share your story. Ah, God, I say this, I feel like almost 12 times a day, but I'm saying it for a reason. And some of you, unfortunately, aren't listening. And if you just share your story a little bit more, I'm not telling you to give your life story or any of the drama by any means. We don't need any of that stuff, right? But if not sharing some of those things that are happening, especially those that are in your team, right? If you get somebody in there, they start exploding, like talk about that. You get something out of a training, talk about that. You learn something, talk about that. Share your story. This is the easiest way for you to position yourself as an expert. Another way that you can do it is interview leaders. Interview leaders. I said on this stage, what, Rita, if you can answer over a month ago, over 2 months ago, interview leaders. Hey, if anybody wants to interview me, maybe I'm not leader enough for you. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. But nobody reached out to say, hey, let's do an interview. Hint, 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 hint. So, as you see, top of the pyramid to the bottom, let's showcase results. Display wins that prove your expertise. Don't have them, we need to create them. Man, I had a big win. Why do you think we share wins at the beginning of this show? I want you to think about those wins and then talk about them, right? Display those wins. Right? Those will help. Professional presentation, strong branding signals trustworthiness. Virgil and I have been on this little mission lately to teach you guys about branding, and we're all learning and learning from each other, which is absolutely beautiful. I truly believe we can all learn something from each other. If we could take what we're learning, again, implement it in there, and then pay attention to what happened. You might not even be paying attention to some of the things that you should be paying attention to because you don't have that big word awareness that I love. Right? Third, strategic affiliations. This comes together with the connections that you make, my friends. Right? And if you need to, you can borrow credibility from somebody else. It doesn't have to necessarily be your success. It can be somebody on your team, right? Now understand that's going to help for the lower level people. That's not going to help for the big whales, okay? They need to see more than that. This is why we're explaining all that to you. You're not going to have um, a bunch of heavy hitters coming in if you don't know your shit. But if you make those strategic affiliations, right, and you connect with the people that are within your organization and you see that there's people that are winning, share those stories, right? Then obviously have some kind of structured framework. This means all the things that we've been talking about, having your day designed and set up so that you know exactly what's going on for your day. Is it a 2 hour day, a 4 hour day, a 6 hour day? How many people are you going to talk to? How many hours are you going to sit there and actually talk to people? 5 per hour, right? All of those will help you move that needle forward. Ultimately, how are you signaling authority in your messaging, your design, your delivery, right? At the same time, yes, I want you to be you. You need to be your own unique, beautiful self with a slight air of professionalism. Make sense? Right? Because again, first impression is always the best. We never get a second chance to make that first impression. So, driving action through scarcity and commitment. So, these are the things that we were kind of talking about. Number 4 is scarcity. I know we don't all necessarily want to be that hype guy, and I'm not saying to be the hype guy. So I love what Gene was talking about, how they're going to be strategic about it. But scarcity tactic work, believe it or not. Limited time offers create that urgency, and if you don't have them on there, it doesn't necessarily move your audience in the direction that you want them to. So just something to consider, right? If you do things, give exclusive access, which will increase the perceived value. Like, okay, well, if you join now, this is what you're going to get where nobody else is going to get it. Right? Fear of missing out. Countdowns. Guess what? I got countdowns on my websites, right? For my master or my trainings that I do. And because of the beauty of the tool sheet that we have, after every one, all I got to do is go in there, boop, change the date, resets everything while I'm ready for the next one. Nice and super simple, right? Because I've got those strategies and those other things already in play. Commitment strategy. We've mentioned this before. And if you guys have been paying attention or been on any of Joel's Got Backup webinars, he talks about micro commitments. Okay. If you can get people to do micro commitments, they can lead to macro commitments. That being said, we want to be careful with our websites and how we present ourselves because if we give somebody too much information, that's going to cause confusion. That's going to slow them down. That's not going to move them forward, right? But if we give them pointed information with a call to action, it's literally you have to think, okay, not that you want to demean the person, but how can we relate this to this person as if they were 5 or 6 years old? Okay, not talking, we're not going to talk baby to them, nothing like that. But just how can we convey and relay that information as if they were a young child to where they would understand it? If we can get those small commitments, here's this, watch this video. They watch the video, call to action, fill out the form below to go to the next step. Right? Boom, they go to the next step. They watch the next video. Click here to buy. So some of those things you can use polls, you can use comments, RSVP people. If you're talking about trying to do an event, I know if we got backup, we do it every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Right? If you've got your company, you know that they do something a specific day, set up an event for it. Get people to RSVP, get them to buy into your event, right? Because if they can commit in the event, then the odds of them being there are a lot higher, right? Then you also don't have to try to nurture somebody through it and say, okay, we're going live in 5 minutes. Here's the link. right? Just go live in the event. And if you have enough people in that event that have RSVP'd, then you'll have a decent show up. And your whole mission is just to get people to show up, right? Have them take a look at what it is that you have. So, quick recap. 5 things we need to focus on. Reciprocity, number one. Number two, social proof. Number three, authority. How are you standing in your show? How are you showing up? How about that? How about that? Number four is scarcity. Number five, consistency and commitment. So you have to be consistent. Going back to what we were talking about when Virgil spoke earlier, and doing this whole direct marketing thing, you still had to take it like a real job. You still have to be serious with it. You have to fine tune your skills and learn these skill sets that we're talking about to continually get better and better and better. Good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best, my friends. Right? But if you, again, you learn these things, take the time to implement them and what you're saying, you learn the language, you learn how to present, you learn, you have your systems in place, you learn how to just point people in the right direction. Hey, buddy, the party's over here. Hey, this way, right over here. Oh, where's the party? Going back to what I said at the very beginning, people flock together, right? So if you could get one person to move into action, you could get more than one person to move into action. Okay. That being said, let me go through this little handout that I gave you guys. I know it's not fancy, but hey, I got your slides today. All right. So what I want you guys to do with this is think about the conversation that we had today. And I don't know, you could probably print this out, or if you need to, write it down on a separate piece of paper. But this is for you. Okay. This is for you that are watching. If you're watching on YouTube, write all this stuff down, pause it, whatever you need to do. Okay. But I want you to think about the things that we talked about. When it comes to reciprocity, we talked about the key points, which is give value first, right? Pitch second. But let's not pitch until we've changed that status, right? Change the mindset there, that person. That can be triggered with free tools, compliments, favors. That can be done in your DMs or your content itself and or follow-ups. I want you to use that as notes down there below and ask yourself that question and write it down. What can you give that can build trust immediately? Right? What can you build or give that builds trust immediately? Because if you can do that, create it, then ta-da, there's your lead magnet, my friend. Right? Number two, social proof. Key points were shared testimonials, reviews, success screenshots. If it worked for them, it'll work for me, right? Showcase your wins, don't just pitch. But the question that I want you to ask is, are you showing enough results to drive belief? As an example, Gene reminded me of being 43 in the world. If I never say that and I never share my story, do you think anybody's going to follow me? They're not, because they're never going to know. That was a facetious question, by the way. But ask yourself, are you showing enough results to drive belief? And if not, then we need to work on that. Let's get you those results or leverage off of somebody else's. Authority, okay? Use your branding, use testimonials, whatever expert content, borrow authority if needed, as I just mentioned. Confidence, though, that's where it's really going to come down to. As it says on that, confidence equals conversions. So if while you're talking, you're not confident about what you're saying, you're not owning the message, all these little things you hear us talking about, it's not going to come through the way you want it to come through. And you want to come through completely confident, knowing what it is that you do and knowing the answers that these people need to hear so they can say, that makes sense. All right. If you can get them to say that makes sense, they're likelihood of joining your business are a lot higher. But the question I want you to ask yourself is how are you signaling expertise visually and verbally? If you're not sharing your story about some of these trainings you're going on, ha, you see what I'm getting at here, right? It's almost this revolution of things that need to happen. But if you're not, then do it. I wish Catherine was here because kudos to Catherine. She's been out there on video and I'm just loving every minute of it. Her audience still needs to be worked on and whatnot, but I personally am loving this side of Catherine, seeing her break out of her shell. She's smiling, she's on video. Like, I don't know if you guys are following her, but you know, connect with her when you see her. Give her some encouragement. Use that reciprocity that I was talking about at the very beginning of the show. Show some love. If you're out there and you're posting on social media and you're not going to somebody else's post and loving, liking, and commenting as well, right? Then don't expect to have a lot of that reciprocation come back to you. Many times I see people do that. They post and they're not out there posting on other people's stuff. It is a social network, folks. We just want to remind you of that be social within those social networks and share your authority. Scarcity. This is something I have to kind of point out, right? We don't want to use scarcity on every post. And not every post needs to be about business. We need to go to day 5 boot camp, go take a look at that so you know some of the different things to post. And many of us can get caught up in that because, we feel that frustration or the pressure of whatever it is and needing to get people into our business. But I'm telling you, we really want to be careful on how many times that we do this because we don't want to burn out our audience. And if you post something up and you notice that you get crickets, well, one of two things have happened. Either the algorithm sucks, which sometimes it does, or you've burnt out your audience and you got to go get a new one. That means you got to actively go out there on social media and find more friends, right? Scarcity does work. Finally, the question, what offer can you make feel limited or exclusive? That's the question you need to ask yourself for this part. There's something you can do to set it up to where, hey, I'm only taking like the first 50 or the first 10 or whatever. Virgil, this is very helpful for you too, because this is how I started, right? It was like, hey, I'm only going to work with the top 5 people or the top 5, whatever. And it might take you a few times of posting that, maybe every couple of weeks or whatever. But eventually, when you get those 5, now, boom, there's your starting point, right? And then you move forward. And then you celebrate the success, especially of your students, right? Consistency and commitment, pretty simple to understand. You need to be consistent. You need to take this as if it was a real job. But if you're not having fun at it, if you're not doing something that you're passionate about, then man, oh man, is it going to feel like a job. And man, oh man, is it going to be overwhelming. And man, oh man, you are not going to have fun. And man, oh man, you're going to want to quit. Seen it. Seen it tons of times before. The only reason that I'm 43 in the company because while everybody else around me quit, I didn't. Plain and simple. I didn't quit, nor will I ever. Right? So you have to have that consistency, and ultimately, you have to have that commitment. So I want you to also take these and rate yourselves on a scale of 1 to 10 on each one of these principles. Right? 10 being really good, 1 being, oh my God, I need some work. Right? But rate yourself on reciprocity. See where you're at. Rate yourself on social proof. Rate yourself on authority, scarcity, consistency. I love that we're doing this, and I trust and hope that you guys also enjoy the value that you're receiving on this. Because as we go through this and you start getting yourself these numbers, these are the numbers that I've been telling many of you guys that is the starting point for you. So you know where you started. Like you hear me talk about me starting off closing 50% of the people that I would talk to. Those are crazy numbers, my friends. If you've been in sales at any amount of time, 50% closing ratio is pretty damn high. That was just starting out. Then we went to 70, 80, 90, 100% closing, and you could not say no to me. You could try. You could damn sure try. But I was pulling out every stop I could. I was inviting myself into the house. I was making myself comfortable. I was, having the same TV that you did, like all these different things that dealt with people on a psychological level, again, just to ultimately create that connection with that other person and make them feel good so that I built that thing called know, like, and trust. When people know you, like you, and they know that you can be trusted, they'll do business with you. That, my friends, is today's show. I trust you got some value. Any final comments, words of wisdom, anything else? Get some value? Anyone? Repeat, refresher, connect some dots.
Well, you helped me realize that I can use scarcity a little bit. One of the things that I'm thinking about doing as I grow my brand is to start a school community or another community or something like that. And that way, and I only want to, I want to make value, add value to it. So I want to charge just $2 to join that monthly. But then your scarcity is by joining one of my, one of the companies I'm promoting. Instead of $20 a month, you get it for $2 a month, something like that. So
Sure.
kind of almost a reward like. But um, I am going to be doing other filters, other funnels outside of my branding that will be more hype driven and more scarcity and stuff like that, and have timers and things because people are going to fall into those. And that's what they, like you already said, that's what they want to see. That's what motivates them more. So
Yeah. And especially true, like timers aren't necessarily a bad thing, especially if you've got a webinar or an event that they need to be to. That timer is it's totally cool. You know what I'm saying? So, but
exactly. So
but either way, like you can spin it doing reverse psychology and just being honest. Yeah, you're not gonna get any of that hype or fancy stuff here. And people will even appreciate that.
mhm.
But I'm still looking forward to waiting for your top 10 too.
Oh yeah, that's still churning. I just got to get a few of these other things done first, and
I hear you. I hear you.
so
Everything in order of precedence. I get it. Cool. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Everybody good to go? Cool. Appreciate y'all being here. Let's have a fantastic day. I gotta go take the dog and get her nails trimmed. They look horrible. Let's see how she acts to that. But beyond that, go out there and let's kick some ass. Let's take some names. Let's have a really good week. And don't forget How To Tuesday with my brother from another mother, Virgil, and myself, flying co-pilot. Love to see you there tomorrow. Bring your questions that we can help answer, and let's go have some fun.